Okay, so this video tutorial is going to be the first in a series of videos that I'm going to create about Adobe Animate to get you up and running with the program. So this one is going to go over the interface and customizing your interface and how to go about saving your files and just kind of general navigation here. And then after this, we're going to continue to build on this and show you how to create animations here. I think this will be really important to kind of look at to get a good foundation going with in terms of understanding the interface here. So when you turn on Adobe Animate, you should get a open window that looks something like this. We have recent projects down here. We have some presets that you can choose from right here. So you could just click on the full HD if you want to right there. But what I recommend is just going up to create new in the top left if we're creating a new project instead of opening an old one. And I'm just going to go with the first one that shows up right here. So we have full HD, which is 1920 by 1080 at 24 frames per second right there. But you can see if you wanted to, you could choose a 4K option right here, or you could type in your own dimensions as well if you have a project that has a little bit of a different layout. But for the purposes of this class and this video tutorial, I'm going to recommend full HD right here. So I'll just click on full HD, not going to change anything here, and press create. And so this is the Adobe Animate interface. And looking at this, we have the toolbar over to the left. So this is where you'll find your paintbrushes, your select tools, things like that. We have our timeline right here. So this is where you time out your animations, play it back, edit your timing, create keyframes. We'll go over that in a future video soon. And then over here, we have a set of panels right here. And this is kind of subject to change what shows up in this area right here. And right now we can see it's the properties panel that's up. And so to customize the interface, or let me, I got one step ahead of myself here. So if you're looking at this interface and it looks a little bit different than what you have on your computer, if you go up to this button right here, and this is true for any Adobe program, is there's going to be a button up here called Workspaces, and you can choose different interface layouts right here. So right now I'm under the basic interface, but I could change it to an animator layout right here, and you can see the timeline move to the top, everything moves all around. And you can see right here as well, I have a saved layout, and these are my initials down here, RD. And so it changes to a different layout right there. And so that's just to say, if in the future, if I'm doing a video tutorial and you're looking for, if I'm using a panel and you can't find it in the same place in your interface, you can just check to see if you're in the same kind of workspace as I am. But more importantly, all of these panels right here, so properties, library, assets, all this stuff, you can find any of these panels if you go up to window, and it's going to be somewhere under this list right here. So you saw I was messing with swatches before. You can go to window and then click on swatches and it'll find it for you. So let me move to demonstrate that. I'll move back to the basic interface, and the basic interface doesn't have swatches as a panel that's up by default. So in order to find it, I'll just go to window and then go down to swatches, and I'll create a little pop-up window like this. And so again, in the future, if I'm ever doing a tutorial and you can't find a panel, you just go up to window and you can find it right there. And if you want to incorporate it into your own customized interface, that's actually super easy to do. So with the swatches panel right here, I can either click right here or where it says swatches to move it around. I also have this little 4-line button to the right, which gives me some other secondary options that I can mess with right there, but we don't need to worry about that right now. And if I click this and I drag it and just drag it till it shows a blue line, you can drag it into different areas of your interface right here. So I can drag it to the left, the right, I can drag it to the right bottom down here, and it'll become part of your interface right there. And something that's nice here is, let me move this out of the way, is when I click this little button right here. So you should look, whenever you see a group of panels, look for the top right, there's going to be 2 arrows, and you can collapse it into icons right there. And so now it's taking up a whole lot less space on my interface. And I can either choose to expand it back out again to where it was or collapse it, or you can see swatches is showing up as a little icon right there. So I can click on the icon and it'll show up as a little tab that goes off to the side. And at any point, I'm not kind of married to this decision, I can just click on swatches and move it out. And I can decide to move it into another area of my interface right here. So I have swatches down there. And you can even move existing panels. So let's say I want my color panel to be with my swatches panel. I just click on color up here. And I just click it, hold it, drag it out. And then I can click it, hold it again. And then I'll drag it so that it's in the same box with swatches right there. And so now swatches and color are both together right there, which makes a lot of sense, at least for me, in terms of a layout right here. And so finally, if you want to save that into your own custom interface, you just go back up to this workspaces button right here. And you can just name it right here. So I'll just call this video tutorial right here. And just press this button right here, and that'll save it into your workspace. So I'll click that. And so it's saved into my workspace. And so now in the future, whenever I open Adobe Animate on this computer, I'll have this option to go back to that custom interface that you created right there. And so you can see I can go back to my RD interface that I had created a while back, or I can go to this video tutorial interface, or choose any of the others. And then finally, if you've created a bunch of them and you just want to clean up a little bit, you can always just delete an interface right there, or sorry, delete a layout right there, and now it's gone. So let me return back to basic right here, the basic interface. That's what I'll be working with mostly here in the future. And let's see here. So kind of going over saving the project right here is what I want to talk about next. So let's just say I have a paintbrush right here, and I'll change this to a bluish color, and I'll just make a line like that. Let's just pretend for a moment that this is a finished animation. We're good with it, and we want to save it right here. With a lot of other programs like Toon Boom Harmony and After Effects, saving a project requires you to create a folder directory for it, and the project links to assets. So if you were to import audio into the project, it would have to link to that audio from somewhere else in your computer. And I actually really like that way of working, but it just requires a bit more organization. Adobe Animate, everything kind of saves within the file. So actually saving a file in Adobe Animate is really straightforward, where if I want to just save this, I just go to File, and then I'll go to File, Save As. And I'm just going to save this on my desktop. You can see I have a trash example on my desktop that I'll show you all in a second here. And so I'll just call this video tutorial. Let's see here. I'm having trouble spelling. Here we go. And so you can just save it as an FLA file. That works fine. And I recommend kind of being more organized than this, maybe creating a folder where you have like project 1, and then you kind of save this FLA file into that. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to save this right onto my desktop. And so you can see right here that it's saved. So if we look right here, there's a recovery file, and then the actual file right there. So it kind of saves us 2 files right there. And we have this older trash example right there. And so in Animate, I have the option where I can have multiple projects open at the same time. So let's say I want to open that trash file. So I'll just go to File, Open, and then I'll go look on my desktop. And then I see that trash example right there on my desktop, and I'll open it. And you can see it shows up as a different tab up here. So you can have multiple projects open at the same time in these tabs that are up here. So let me close that trash example. I'll just close that out. One thing that might be even more helpful than that most of the time is the scene tab right here. Is in Adobe Animate, you can have multiple scenes open at the same time right here. So let's imagine that the squiggly line that I just drew is the opening shot to a short animation that I'm trying to create. And now I want to go on to shot 2. What I can do is I can go to Insert and then Scene right here at the top. And I'll create that. And it creates a scene 2. So let me just switch over to Fuchsia, and I'll draw a circle. I'm working with a mouse right now. And so I have scene 2 right there, which is my little smiley face. And then I have scene 1 right here. And these can be entire animations. or entire animated shots, I should say, between scene to scene right here. So within one Adobe Animate FLA file right here, and I'll just press File Save, you can have multiple shots saved at the same time. All right, so in the next video tutorial, what I'm going to go over is this toolbar, and there's some super important stuff I'm going to go over with that. And then next, we'll kind of start to incorporate the timeline, keyframing, and at that point, we're going to be doing pretty well, and we'll just continue to build off of that.